Welcome to Headphone News, Greater Toronto edition for Monday, November 18, 2024.
Burnout crisis among rural doctors in Canada. Dr. Sarah Giles, an emergency room doctor in Kenora, Ontario, raised urgent concerns about staffing shortages in rural healthcare. Many patients endure long wait times and receive inadequate care due to limited medical services. Through working extra shifts that averaged 10 hours each, Dr. Giles experienced significant burnout. Over the past 4 years, the number of doctors at the Kenora Hospital has dropped from 22 to just 11. This decline reflects a broader issue in rural Canada, where hospitals struggle to meet the growing needs of patients. Without meaningful changes to staffing and support, the quality of emergency services is likely to decline even further.
Concerns grow over Ontario's bike lane legislation. New legislation in Ontario could remove important bike lanes in Toronto. Transportation Minister Prabmeet Sarkaria introduced a plan requiring municipalities to get provincial approval for any changes to certain bike lanes. This has raised concerns among advocacy groups and individuals who depend on these lanes, including Oda Alanizi, a wheelchair user who stated that these bike lanes have significantly improved his mobility and mental health. Recently, Alanizi participated in a protest against the legislation, highlighting the need for accessible transportation options. The Toronto City Council opposed the provincial legislation, urging both provincial and municipal governments to work together to protect existing bike lanes. They called for strategies to enhance road safety and tackle traffic congestion without sacrificing accessibility for people with disabilities. This ongoing discussion emphasizes the important connection between urban planning, transportation policies, and the rights of disabled individuals in Ontario.
Toronto approves hotel tax increase for FIFA World Cup. On November 17, 2024, the Toronto City Council approved a temporary increase in the hotel tax from 6% to 8.5%. This change is aimed at helping the city manage its financial responsibilities for hosting the 2026 FIFA World Cup. The new tax is projected to raise about $56 million to help cover a $95 million budget shortfall. The total cost of hosting the event is estimated at $380 million. City officials expect that the tax increase will allow visitors to help offset these costs. However, local hotel operators have expressed concerns about staying competitive with hotels outside the city. This increase will take effect in summer 2025 and remain in place until the end of the World Cup in July 2026.
Double stabbing incident in Toronto. A double stabbing occurred early on November 16, 2024, in an apartment near Fort York Boulevard and Dan Leckie Way in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The victim, 34-year-old Sean, suffered serious injuries and later died at the hospital. The incident began around 12:40 a.m. when the two men got into a fight, leading to both of them stabbing each other. The other man, 33 years old, also was injured and is currently in critical condition. He has been charged with second-degree murder. This event raises serious concerns about violence in urban areas and underscores the ongoing need for community safety measures.
Colin Beaudry's journey to recovery in Ottawa. Colin Beaudry, a 47-year-old from Ottawa, Ontario, recently found an apartment after a year of living on the streets. He struggled with addiction and faced the tragedy of losing his infant daughter Autumn, who died at just 7 weeks old due to a medical condition. Beaudry's hardships worsened after a relationship ended, pushing him back into homelessness in 2023. In Ottawa, he received essential support from the Canadian Mental Health Association and community members. With help from a treatment program at the Ottawa Mission, Beaudry started to rebuild his life. He is now studying to assist others dealing with addiction. This story underscores the vital role that community support plays in helping individuals overcome similar challenges.
Homicide investigation in Oshawa, Ontario. A 48-year-old woman was found injured at a home in Oshawa, Ontario, in the early hours of Sunday morning. Durham Regional Police received a 911 call around 12:30 a.m. Officers arrived and discovered the woman in critical condition. She was taken to a hospital, but later pronounced dead. Authorities have arrested her 41-year-old husband, charging him with first-degree murder. Two 5-year-old children and an elderly woman were in the home at the time of the incident, but sustained no injuries. Police are asking anyone with information about the case to come forward. This tragic incident brings attention to the serious issues surrounding domestic violence and the need for heightened community safety.
Pedestrian fatality in Scarborough traffic incident. On November 17, 2024, a tragic incident occurred in Scarborough, a district of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. A man estimated to be in his 60s was struck and killed by a vehicle around 5:30 p.m. Emergency services arrived quickly, but the victim was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver remained on site and is cooperating with the investigation. Authorities are looking into the circumstances that led to the collision. This heartbreaking event raises concerns about pedestrian safety in urban areas and highlights the importance of driver education and infrastructure improvements.
Canada Post strike disrupts small businesses. The strike by 55,000 Canada Post workers is now into its third day, causing significant disruptions for small businesses across Canada. Lauren James, who owns a model train shop in Tillsonburg, Ontario, estimates daily losses around 10,000 Canadian dollars, which is about 7,400 United States dollars. With a busy holiday shopping season fast approaching, small retailers are worried about delivery delays that could hurt sales. Many customers may opt for larger retailers like Amazon for faster shipping options. Negotiations between Canada Post and the union are still underway, but there are currently no plans for government intervention.
Political stalemate in Canada. The House of Commons in Ottawa faces a challenging situation as a lengthy filibuster continues, which could lead to a confidence crisis for the Liberal government. Conservatives and the Bloc Québécois plan to introduce a non-confidence motion. This filibuster has persisted for over a month, hindering essential government actions. Conservatives demand documents related to a green technology fund, while Liberals accuse them of blocking progress. Urgent action is required to prevent a budget shortfall in December and to keep government operations running smoothly. All parties need to cooperate to avoid a potential government shutdown.
Toronto man charged with human trafficking. Toronto police have arrested a 22-year-old man linked to a human trafficking case. The accused allegedly trafficked a female victim for about 5 months. Authorities stated that she met the suspect after moving to Ontario. The man reportedly used deception, coercion, and violence to control the victim. It is claimed that the money earned during this period was handed over to him. The arrest occurred on November 10, 2024. Police are concerned there may be more victims and are encouraging anyone with information to step forward.
Police search for suspect in Greater Toronto sexual assaults. Police are investigating 3 sexual assaults that took place in the Greater Toronto area of Ontario, Canada. The most recent incident happened on November 16, 2024, when a man approached a 21-year-old woman at a bus stop in Brampton. He offered her a ride, lured her into his vehicle, and then assaulted her. Authorities describe the suspect as a South Asian male, around 20 to 25 years old, with short black hair and a beard, driving a dark-colored four-door sedan. This case is believed to be linked to 2 previous assaults, including one on November 8 involving an 18-year-old woman, also in Brampton. Police are urging anyone with dash camera footage from the area during the early morning hours to come forward with information. Community safety remains a top priority as local authorities work to address these troubling incidents. Public awareness and vigilance are critical to preventing future occurrences. Victims of sexual assault are encouraged to reach out to local support services for assistance. Discussions on crime prevention strategies are anticipated in response to these incidents, emphasizing personal safety measures and the resources available for victims.
Support for Toronto Santa Claus Parade. The Toronto Santa Claus Parade is getting support from the government after facing a deficit of $250,000 Canadian dollars, which is about $182,000 US dollars. To help cover costs, parade organizers launched a GoFundMe campaign and raised around $72,000 Canadian dollars, or about $54,000 US dollars. Prime Minister Trudeau and Toronto Mayor Chow stressed the importance of this community event. The parade is scheduled for November 24th, 2024, and will feature 26 floats and 18 marching bands. For the first time, it will also be live-streamed on YouTube for viewers who cannot attend in person.
Truck rollover in North York injures driver. A truck rollover happened in North York, a district of Toronto, Ontario, Canada on November 18, 2024 at around 10 p.m. A driver in his 30s was trapped inside and sustained life-threatening injuries. Emergency responders quickly rescued the driver and took him to the hospital, where he remains in critical condition. The police are currently investigating the cause of the accident. No other vehicles were involved in this incident, which raises important concerns about truck safety on busy city streets.
Toronto Argonauts win 111th Grey Cup. The Toronto Argonauts secured a significant victory in the 111th Grey Cup Championship, defeating the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 41-24. The game took place on November 17, 2024, at BC Place Stadium in Vancouver, British Columbia. Nick Arbuckle in his first Grey Cup start threw 2 touchdown passes and was named Most Valuable Player. With this win, the Argonauts captured their 19th Grey Cup title, making them the most successful team in the history of the Canadian Football League. The Argonauts now hold an impressive record of 8-0 against the Blue Bombers in Grey Cup matchups. A standout defense recorded 3 key interceptions in the fourth quarter, contributing greatly to the victory. Over 52,000 fans attended the game, and Prince Harry made a notable appearance to promote the upcoming Invictus Games in Canada.
Toronto Argonauts win 111th Grey Cup. On November 17, 2024, the Toronto Argonauts triumphed over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in the 111th Grey Cup Championship, finishing with a score of 41-24. The exciting game took place in Vancouver, British Columbia. Dijon Brissett was named Most Valuable Player for his outstanding performance, which included 3 receptions for 45 yards along with the game-winning touchdown. Quarterback Nick Arbuckle completed 26 passes out of 37 attempts, gaining 252 yards and throwing 2 touchdowns. This victory marked the Argonauts' 19th Grey Cup title and their second championship in 3 years. The event also featured a lively halftime show by the Jonas Brothers, enhancing the entertainment for fans.
That is all the news for today. Thank you for listening to today's Headphone News. News summary brought to you by AI.